Here at Lake Stahahee and throughout Harriman State Park, one of the most delightful things about this time of year, which is nearing the end of July, is that it's berry season. We're having a very good day today. As you can see, these wine berries, which are a kind of raspberry, are getting ripe and ready and so delicious. Now, some of them are a little bit seedy, and you know, it's really important to note that if you don't know how to identify edible plants, it's best just to leave them be. But these are a raspberry, a very, very delicious raspberry. And we'll be pointing out some berries to you in this video. Again, if you're not comfortable with identification, we're not telling you it's a good idea to go ahead and eat berries. But we will show you a few that are very readily available in Harriman State Park nearing the end of July. So another very popular berry that's around at this time of year is the blueberry. And the blueberry bushes are plentiful right around the water. In fact, some of the best ones I think you have to get in the water in a boat to get. These are high bush blueberries. We also have low bush blueberries and huckleberries. You can see that the branching is pretty thick. It is a bush. On the low bush blueberries, you're not going to get as much woody material. But high bush blueberries are bigger. They're a little less sour. Very, very delicious in your breakfast pancakes. Cattails are a really great wetland plant. You can see that it's established itself in this area around the lake. Most of the lakes in Harriman State Park are man-made, but as succession takes over from the edges, some of that area is going to turn to more of a marshy, wetland area, a little bit more muddy, and these cattails are a good example of that. Cattails are an important food for muskrat. Although we haven't really seen muskrat at Lake Stahahee, there's a good chance that as the crop of cattails becomes more prevalent, we are going to see some muskrats come in. Like beaver, muskrat kind of make a lodge, but instead of using wood, they use cattails. Cattails also have a really cool seed dispersal situation. So my children always said it looked like a hot dog on a stick, but some of them are a little bit more narrow, and between the narrow and the fatter heads, they will pollinate themselves, and then the seed dispersal is really cool because each one of the seeds sort of blows into the wind and lands in a new location for establishment. One of the plants that's very prevalent around here, because there's a lot of sunshine, is white pine. Now you can tell white pine because of the clusters of longer needles, and you can always remember white pine by using your fingers to note the number of needles in a cluster. So white, W-H-I-T-E, has 5 letters. Your hand has 5 fingers, so you can use your hand to judge that. White pines are used for holiday trees oftentimes. They're a little bit more wispy. They allow a lot more sunshine to come through them, and they can get quite tall and create some decent shade. So witch hazel is an understory tree. This is a witch hazel. Witch hazel's got some super cool flowers. You might catch them in the very early spring, like March, or you might actually catch them in the fall. They're yellow and they're kind of spidery. Right now there's this big sort of bud. I'm assuming the fruit of the witch hazel. Now you may have heard of witch hazel before, and witch hazel can be used as an astringent, sort of like rubbing alcohol. It's great if you have a cut and you want to make sure that that cut stays clean. Some people use it as sort of a refresher for their face. It just sort of makes your face feel kind of nice, keeps it germ-free. So this is an understory tree called witch hazel. This plant is called sweet fern. Now sweet fern is kind of interesting. It does have a yellow flower. Again, it's a spring type flower. We're not going to see it this time of year, which is mid-July. But it has a really nice scent to it, sort of a citrusy scent to it. And it's not a fern at all. It is sort of a woody plant. I wouldn't call it a soft plant at all, because it is around in the wintertime just without its leaves. So again, this one is called sweet fern. So you might see these patches that are along logs. They're all over our rocks. These are lichen. They're lesser class plants, although I don't think they're low class at all. I think they're pretty cool. There are three kinds of lichen. There's crustose, which is kind of very flat against the surface. There's foliose, which has a little bit more to it. And then there's fructose. And fructose actually can be pretty big flakes. But the most common ones are going to be the crustose and the foliose lichen.